was nowhere in sight after stepping through the iron shoes till it break to find him, and out of nowhere, it takes no effort to find him. The disciple of Brilliant Fire Sect had been searching for a key person for a year, but he unexpectedly ran into him. Xianxia was overjoyed. At this moment, he finally understood why Yu Xueqing had mobilized manpower to launch a frantic attack a few days ago to divert Brilliant Fire Sect's attention. Obviously, the plank road is repaired when it was dark outside. Moreover, judging from the direction of their groups, it was indeed the route back to Extinct Ice Island. That's it. Xianxia nodded slightly and turned to look at Yu Xueqing. It turns out that your purpose is this, but it's a pity that since you has met this Yan, you are doomed to fail. Yu Xueqing screamed badly in her heart. She couldn't help but glared at Yang Kai, blaming him for talking and asking for trouble, and at the same time she whispered, "What are you doing in a daze? Still don't hurry to go away. Anyway, send this kid to Extinct Ice Island." When the words were over, Yu Xueqing urged her Saint Yuan, and a cold aura visible to the naked eye centered on where she was, spreading crazily around. The cold aura almost froze the world, and the earth immediately filled with a thick layer of ice. Whoosh! Ice ridges suddenly appeared behind Yu Xueqing, sharp gleaming coldly. She raised her bare hand, and the countless ice cones attacked the people of Brilliant Fire Sect like locusts crossing the border. "I've heard about the name of the 13th Elder. This Yan will come to play with you. I hope you won't let me down." Xianxia yelled sharply, facing the countless ice cones without fear, and slammed forward with a punch. There was a crackling sound, and the hot aura splashed into the void. A huge fist made of flames greeted the ice cones. Boom boom boom. The ice cone shattered countlessly. The flame giant fist also gradually disappeared, eventually disappeared. "Brother Zhang, you can decide whether the others are dead or alive, but that kid must be captured alive." After Xianxia crushed Yu Xueqing's attack, he hurriedly approached Yu Xueqing and exhorted. He, with your words, the old man is relieved." Zhang Shi grinned, urging his own poisonous power. In an instant, the world within a radius of 10 miles is shrouded in a layer of colorful poisonous mist like an upside-down bowl, covering the 10-mile land tightly, and an unpleasant aura fills the world, making people feel like vomiting from smelling it. All the women in Ice Heart Valley who smelled this aura felt a little dizzy. Saint Yuan is not working well. Not good. It's Zhang's eyes annihilating poison mist. Ice Heart Valley disciple shouted in horror. "No matter what, send this kid out first." The other person followed Yu Xueqing's instructions and reminded everyone with a sweet voice. The women in Ice Heart Valley suddenly returned to their senses. For more than a year, at least 1,000 of the same people died tragically, just to find Yang Kai. Now they has finally found his whereabouts, and if he is robbed here, those 1,000 fellows will die in vain. "Follow us!" a young woman shouted at Yang Kai. Yu Xueqing was entangled by Xianxia, and everyone was led by her. "Can't leave, right?" Yang Kai looked at her and shook his head slowly. "That old man is stronger than you, and this poisonous fog seems to be incredible. If you really run away, you'll be played to death." "Why are you saying so much nonsense? Let's go." The young woman almost gritted her teeth and screamed, "This person is very strong, and we can't resist it." "Very strong? How strong?" Yang Kai's expression remained unchanged. The peak of the Third Order Void Return stage. On Scarlet Billow's Star, he is one of the most promising candidates to be promoted to the Void King realm. Only the top 5 elders in Ice Heart Valley can compete with him. "Don't you know how to live or die?" "Sure enough, very strong." Yang Kai nodded lightly. "You." The young woman was annoyed and was very dissatisfied with Yang Kai's inattentive attitude. She said everything so seriously, but the other party didn't care at all. "Isn't this going to drag them down and suffer? We have missed the best time," a woman next to her said sadly. Upon hearing this, the young woman sighed. If they acted at the moment when the 13th elder opened their mouths to remind them, they might even escape, but after being so dazzled by Yang Kai, what chance of survival is there? Xianxia hated Ice Heart Valley deeply. His strength was extremely high, and the poisonous skill he cultivated was even more secretive and difficult to prevent. The fate of her group of fellow disciples might not be optimistic. Thinking of this, the young woman glared at Yangkai fiercely, and gritted her silver teeth and said, "If we die, I will kill you. I won't let you go even after going to the netherworld." "What are you doing so serious?" Yangkai still didn't care. "Just kill him." As soon as the young woman heard it, she was dumbfounded. All the women in Ice Heart Valley looked at Yangkai like idiots, thinking that men are really stupid creatures. Doesn't he know the strength gap between himself and Xianxia? Actually dared to speak so loudly. After everyone was delayed for such a while, the same colorful poisonous fog had filled Zhang's body, making it impossible to see his figure. Only the creepy grinning sound came from the poisonous fog. "Follow the old man, but remember, don't kill anyone. These lowly maids in Ice Heart Valley belong to the old man, and the old man wants them to know what makes people look unrecognizable," Xianxia said in a low voice. Several cultivators of Brilliant Fire Sect rolled their eyes, but their strength was not as good as the other party, and they could only nod their heads to cooperate. Immediately after Xianxia said so, the fire attribute Saint Yuan was overwhelmingly powerful and rushed towards the Ice Heart Valley people. "Come on. We have more people than them, so we should try our best to defend first, and be especially careful of Zhang's eyes poisonous mist." The leading young woman sipped, and nearly 10 Ice Heart Valley women ran the Saint Yuan together, urging their own severe cold to the extreme. She looked at Yangkai again and said, "You hide behind. Hey, what are you going to do?" When she was speaking, she saw Yangkai actually take a step forward and greeted Xianxia and the others directly, with a look of not knowing life and death. "Hurry back." The young woman was shocked. On the other side, Yu Xueqing, who was on the same level as Yan Chile, noticed the abnormality here, turned her head and glanced, and her face also changed color. She was distracted, and Yan Chile took advantage of the originally evenly matched situation. She could only defend hard, cursing Yangkai for not knowing the severity of his actions, and acting so recklessly. She knew it was over. Not only was it impossible to bring Yangkai back to extinct Ice Valley, the dozen or so disciples probably will be dead. As for her, the hope of escape was only 30%. For a time, Yu Xueqing was anxious, but there was nothing she can do. "This kid is interesting. Well, Elder Yan said that I can't hurt his life, I can only catch him alive. It's really troublesome." Xianxia looked at Yangkai, who was approaching him, quickly clasped his hands, and a wisp of poisonous mist came from him, separated and attacked Yangkai. In the blink of an eye, that wisp of poison mist hit Yangkai, twisting and wriggling like a rope winding towards Yangkai, obviously trying to capture him alive. "It's over." The young woman behind her heart sank. She almost couldn't bear to watch the next scene, and she felt anxious in her heart. If it weren't for Yangkai's reckless act, they would at least hope to complete this task. By then, it would be worthwhile even if some people were killed or injured, but now, everything is done. As if the poisonous smoke is spiritual, it binds Yangkai's body. "This kid is useful to your Brilliant Fire Sect, I'll leave him to you," Xianxia commanded. Without even looking at Yangkai, he flew past him, aiming at the young woman and the others not far ahead. The Brilliant Fire Sect people had a few eye contact, one rushed towards Yangkai, and the others continued to follow Xianxia. The team of 7 or 8 passed by Yangkai. Golden light suddenly rises. There is blood spattering, and there are broken limbs flying. The vitality of a few people was instantly annihilated. The corpses and pieces of meat fell like rain crashing down, and the scene was extremely bloody. Perceiving the energy fluctuations behind him, Xianxia frowned and looked back suspiciously. In the next moment, his eyes widened, and he quickly turned around, looking at Yangkai solemnly, with an unbelievable look in his eyes. The poisonous smoke that restrained this kid did not know when it disappeared, and there were no Brilliant Fire Sect cultivators left behind. All of them died. There was no fighting movement, no screams before death. It seemed that there was only a momentary energy fluctuation, and 6 or 7 void return stage cultivators died so inexplicably. Zhang suddenly felt that something was wrong, and a chill came from his head to the soles of his feet. What's the matter? A group of women in Ice Heart Valley were also stunned. The young woman in the lead trembled even more, with a dazed expression, as if in a dream. Xianxia's beautiful eyes were full of brilliance, and she showed an expression like that. Yongkai insisted not to flee, but took the initiative to meet the enemy. She had already guessed. She doesn't know Yongkai deeply, but from Su Yan, she knows that Yongkai is a person who can often create miracles and see the challenges of higher realm as a commonplace. Before, she just guessed, but now the facts are before her. The 6 or 7 people of Brilliant Fire Sect from the 1st to 3rd Order Void returned stage when they passed by Yongkai. They all died inexplicably. This can no longer be explained by a step-by-step combat. This is simply a miracle. No one knows how Yongkai did it. They only saw a ray of golden light blooming. No way, right? The young woman looked at Yongkai in shock. At this moment, Yongkai had a golden thread floating in front of him. The golden thread was strangely full of vitality and chi, as if it had their own life, making people feel uncomfortable, not dare to underestimate it. With a faint smile on his face, he looked at Zhang sarcastically. Zhang felt the tremendous pressure inexplicably, as if what he was facing was not a second-order void return stage, but a genuine Void King realm. With his divine consciousness changing, Zhang dispelled the anxiety in his heart and said in a low voice, "Dare you pretend to be a pig and eat a tiger? It's you who look down on me too much." Yongkai grinned and said calmly, "Old thing, are you ready to die?" Boasting shamelessly. Zhang yelled, his own chi suddenly fluctuating into a fan shape to suppress Yongkai. To be continued.